invite me to BNI without, that is characteristic of me. I needed to know why anybody should invite me to BNI. But when I got to VAPO, I realized that there were news items that I had reported with one boss of mine. I don't want to mention his name on the program, and that we had been granted bail. So I realized that everything has been schemed. You can't invite me to BNI without, that is characteristic of me. I needed to know why anybody should invite me to BNI. Uncle Kwesi, let me sing this. One may ask, why is he talking about this? I'm talking about these things so that it does not happen to another person. So that I will create the awareness for people to understand how certain things happen. People should be aware of this. And I am standing to canvass and make sure that these are human rights issues. People get to know how the BNI operates out of the law. Well, during the interrogation with my lawyers, I had already thought of some of the reasons why they may be inviting me. And from the stories that have gone on already, and the fact that even on the platform where the minister threatened me, there was a discussion on this same coup, alleged coup.
Well, hello and welcome to Talk Time. This week, to be honest with you, I'm very excited about doing this interview. Because in many ways, this interview is special. And it's special to the extent that we're going to be talking about a very distinguished man, a man who has been through a lot of pain, a man who has been put on a treason trial which could result in death, and one who still gives us a lot of hope. Welcome to Talk Time. Come back to Talk Time, and as I indicated from the very beginning, this is a very special interview for me because we're going to be talking about the tribulations of a very special man, a man who served in the police service, who definitely wanted to protect his countrymen and women from harm, who wanted to bring down crime and so on, who became outspoken at a certain point in his career.
Truly African.
Ha! How can we some look fast?
Truly African.
Hello and welcome to Talk Time. And this week, we are having a conversation on the National Service Scheme. National Service, what it is, what's its future, and what is relevant to the national development effort. Welcome to Talk Time. Hello, welcome back to Talk Time. And as I indicated from the very beginning today, we are talking about the National Service Scheme. And we are particularly privileged to have with us in the studio the Executive Director of the National Service Secretariat, Mr. Osei Assibey Antwi. So you're welcome to the studio.
Thank you very much, sir.
First of all, what is the National Service Scheme? I mean, what are its origins? What was it established for?
Thank you for the opportunity, and thank you for giving National Service an opportunity to be in your studio. And we are also not being hosted by any other person but you, being the professor in the system, because of your experience. National Service has been in existence for the past 50 years. The National Service, by the act or by a decree to start with, that is decree in 1973, established the National Youth Group, that is the National Service. It was an institution to be able to help train our graduates. So right from 1973, as a whole country, we accepted that if anybody finishes a tertiary institution, the person will have to spend, initially it was 2 years, the person will have to serve his nation by 2 years. But as time goes by and the population continue to increase, and with the central government looking at the burden of taking all the allowances that it has to pay, decided to reduce it. So even though it started in 1973, but it actually got the parliamentary assent to Act 426. So the Act 426 in 1980 then streamlines it a little bit by now reducing the years into 1 year. So now every graduate in this country, you have to spend 1 year. And there was a purpose towards that. And the purpose, the number one was, how do we build a country whereby we are all united, whereby we will understand ourselves? How do we achieve the aim and objective of the first gentleman of the land, that is Dr. Kwame Nkrumah? A country, one country with one destiny, one purpose. How do we achieve that? So the framers of it thought that by bringing all the youth together, moving them from one place to another, for instance, moving people from Ashanti region into the northern region, moving people from the northern region to Ashanti region, people from Greater Accra to Volta region, Volta Accra to Eastern region. By the time they are done with the 1 year national service, they would have understand the culture of the people and they would have understand them better. And by so doing, the graduate will know the country better. And they are also the future leaders. So if you send a future leader to go into a remote area, then he will know the plight of the people there. So by God's grace, if he grow up to become a senior most person and is among the decision making, he would then be thinking about Ghana not as Accra, but he will be thinking about Ghana that has a lot of regions which we are all not the same. Mm-hmm. So in terms of accessibility, in terms of equality, we can achieve that. Then again, we were also thinking about building the voluntary aspect into our young ones, voluntarism as a key, so that we will be able to use the expertise of the young one. So even though we normally talked about national service 1973, if you look at the evolution, you will see that each and every president that have come into power have a way of using national service. If you look at our first president, even though the youth group started in his area, but we almost talk about the decree. But even before 1973, the first president of the land has started a youth group. So that youth group was also used in the area of Agrarian and others. Then came the Prime Minister Buzia. Prime Minister Buzia said, look, let us use the national service personnel in the building area and in the farming area. But he concentrated more his effort in the area of the construction. So during the era of Buzia, national service were used in the construction of toilets, in the construction of hospitals. They were used in the construction of schools and all the others. So that is how they were used. Then the successive ones came. For instance, if you talk about, then we talk about Rawlings. Rawlings was much interested in the use of national service, farming. And then talking about the evacuation cocoa here and there. So that was how he also used them. President Kufuor came. We also how he used the national service. To him, Agrarian was a factor. He was the one who brought the idea that, well, the private sector is the engine of growth. So why don't you tailor the deployment to support the private sector? Because if the private sector, we are able to build them up, then they will be able to assist the government in the area of the employment. So that is how that he also used it. Then came Professor Mills, because he is also from the academia. So his interest more was on how do we sharpen the skills, push them to support the teaching and learning. Everyone that has come has used national service in the area of teaching and learning, but he was more focused there. Then came President Mahama. his weight was more on the area of teaching agric. Then now currently we are with Nanado. Nanado came and said, look, I am a lawyer and therefore the law must work. Why is it that you've written in your act that without pedagogy you can't let people go and teach, and yet people are going to teach at the senior high school here and there, but yet they've not been trained? I tax you, you have to go and do something about it. So I was there when he was charging the Minister of Education that the pedagogy must be introduced, the building construction grounds must be built, the farming must be escalated. Then again, he talked about the business support, not sending the people there only to just go and sit there and support them. They must go as people who have been well prepared. So the national service of today, moving from far 1973, now having achieved the years of 50 years. So having achieved the year 50 years, then the charge is that national service now will have to reposition itself. I took office in September 2021, and the charge by the president was that we will not celebrate the 50th year of the national service without you coming to show to me that national service is on the way of repositioning itself. And truly, we have done as he said. So when the board was being sworn into the office, the charge to the board was that you have lived long with your demonstration farms. Always, because we have farmlands across the whole country. That is one area we also teach, or we give the practical skilled knowledge to those who have gone to the various universities to acquire the knowledge in the area of agri. A lot of people have been talking about the way Ghana, the way we teach our people into the agri space. A lot of people have been questioning that why is it that we teach a lot of people in the area of agri, but yet we don't see them going into the agri sector, but always diverting into the other sectors. Some major stakeholders have come with a lot of suggestions. That is because in their training, a lot of them are theory. And therefore, they have little to do with the practical aspect of it. So then the question was that the 1 year with national service, what do you do? So Nanado said, charge us, do something realistically. That is why with his support, we've been able to acquire 20,000 acres of land at Kumawu.
We'll come to that.
Yes.
How many people do you deploy and where?
Yes. Well, so talking about the 2022-2023 batch that are done with their national service, at the full scale, the total number was 179,000.
Wow.
179,000. And out of the 179,000, the first area of deployment were teaching and learning. And there we were able to supply them to, that is, to the Ministry of Education, by extension, the GES, and then the GTVET. We were able to supply to them 69,000. And the 69,000 national service that were sent into the teaching and learning area. One, we have to look at the basic education level. So some went into the basic education level. So at the basic education level, we are looking at the kindergarten up to the GHS. Then some were also sent into the senior high school level. Then apart from the senior high school level, some were also being used at the university level as teaching assistants. In fact, that is where the top brains are normally sent to. Because the universities, living by the old woman saying that the sweetness of the pudding lies in the eating. So the universities, immediately after training them, they select the best ones. Then they will send the names to us. Then we will post them. That is the first class. So always the first class ones are sent back into the university to support in the academic work. So that is where we send them to. Then the second area now of focus is in the area of the business support. So they have also grown higher. So even last year, the business support, we sent about 23,000. Then the 23,000, it was really targeted supply, not supplying them any material they will not need. So to the business support, we supply them with ICT. We supply them with actuarial science. We supply them with supply chain. Then we also supply them with those who have done marketing. Then in the business area, a lot of them, because when you talk of business areas, there are others that are into private construction. So the construction group will also need the electrical engineers. They will also need all different type of engineers, mechanical engineers, they will need them. Those in the construction will also need the type of engineers. So we look at all the requests, all the requirements. So what we normally do is that before the year ends, we will write to all user agencies in the country, because we have their database, that the national service calendar is going to an end and we will start. Tell us what you need. So based upon what they will tell us, we will supply. So now the third area of deployment is that of the administrative support. Because all the local governance that is going on, the various district assemblies, we supply them. They are much interested in physical planners. They are interested in them. They are interested in ICT. They are interested in those who did geography and all the others. So we supply them what they need. Then not only those at the local government level, but the public service and the civil service also rely much on national service for administrative support. The health sector always look up to us, because we see at the various rural areas, the administrators are mostly national service. Then we also push them the nurses. One fundamental thing that is very interesting and very important, worth knowing, is that now, if you look at all the West Africa, Ghana has become an exceptional class, because now we talk about our teachers, then the transiting point is tertiary. So they will all do national service. You look at the health sector, they also transit at tertiary, so they all do national service. First, we used to have our polytechnics that were doing certificate here and there. Now they've all been uplifted into a university status. So they also do national service. So these are the people that we also post them. And not only that, so after posting it to them, then we look at the policing, that is the security of the country. We also support the police a lot. This year, their demand was almost about 2,000, even though we couldn't meet them on that 2,000, but at least 1,000 we send it to them. So we see some of them being used in the traffic as traffic wardens, some of them being used at the offices, charge rooms, and all the others. So these are the areas that we've also been deploying them to. And the agri sector is very key. The agri sector, my old lady at the village do not know how to use the modern day chemicals, weedicide and all the others that have come. So that is also an area where you see the professionalism at its work. So you see where our village farmers now knows the value of education with the deployment of the national service personnel to support the agri extension officers that are already there. So normally when we post them to the various district agri directorate, the agri directorate also takes them to support the education at the lowest level. And now we are also targeting those in the agri space. So if you are a great farmer and you register with us, we also supply you the best materials that you need. The agronomists, we will send it to you and they will come and help you. The soil science, because a lot of people go into the agri and they end up losing because they don't have any knowledge about the soil. What can you grow here? What can you grow there? You have 100 acres of land, but it is not all the parts that you can grow something that will do well. But with the support of the national service personnel, they are able to help them in testing the soil to tell them, look, this side will be better for rice, this side will be better for maize, this side will be better for this. So all these things are also going on, which through national service, we are supporting them.
Now, sir, when you have deployed them, how do you ensure that they go to work and they do what they're expected to do? Do you have a system to supervise them, to monitor them?
It's a very good question. National service now is we are in the 16 regions. So we have regional directors in all the 16 regions. And we also have district managers in the 261 administrative districts. We also have them there. And we also have at the headquarters a research and monitoring unit. So the research and monitoring unit design the template, share the template with the regional directors. And the regional directors, knowing the numbers of the deployment, because every region knows the total numbers that were deployed to that region. And the regional director knows each and every part where the numbers were deployed to. Then it becomes the duty of the regional director to act in my space to ensure that he will follow up to know where specifically each of them was posted. So that is the user agency. Specifically, is it a school that the person was posted? Is it a farming space? He will have to know all. So you go, you visit the regional director, within the twinkle of an eye, he can tell you, Akosia Mansa is in this village. This one is in that village. So by so doing, he fall on the manager there at the district level. Is Akosia Mansa working? And now, first it was difficult, but now with the digitization, it is rather helping us. Because we've now digitized our system to such an extent that even at, before the end of every month, they go into the system to download their form. And when they download their form, then they will get the form. And when they get the form, there are a lot of questionnaire on it to be filled. The number of days you attended work, the work that you did. But you have to submit that form to your supervisor. So your supervisor will have to then endorse it, validate it, before it will be given to the district manager. So now, because we don't have the numbers to be able to do all the monitoring and evaluation, we are relying on those that we post them to also be supporting us. So by the form that we give to them. So now every teacher, every headmaster will then have a portion to fill. And occasionally, we also send our team to go into the region, go into the district, take the evaluation forms, and go into the working space to see the attendance book, whether it matches up with the evaluation reports that we have. So this is the space where we actually need a lot of support, which I know central government alone cannot be able to do that, because central government is already burdened with the payment of all these allowances, and the central government is helping everybody that is using national service, including the banks, because now currently the banks are using a lot of the national service personnel. I know a #1 bank that is using 1,000 national service personnel. So by the use of 1,000 national service, look at the savings that bank is making. Because for a bank to use a professional, a graduate, the bank would have paid almost about 3,000. But if that bank is using national service, it means that that bank will be paying the 71557 times the 20%. That 20% will come to us as an administrative fee. But adding all together will not even be more than 1,100. Oh, but some of the banks are doing well. Some of the banks are paying 1,000. So when they add the 20% to it, making 1,200. Assuming without admitting that it's even 1,500, it means that every bank that is using national service is making a savings of more than 1,500. So that means that as a country, if you want Ghana to develop, then we must all come back and support the government. And how do you support the government? By supporting national service. Because if you're able to support the national service, then we'll be able to monitor and look at how best they are also performing.
Well, previously in a conversation with my friend and the Executive Director of the National Service Scheme. And we are talking generally about everything national service. But we're going to take a short break. And when we come back from the short break, I'd like to ask some very simple questions.
Okay.
How do institutions get access to national service personnel? And what do you expect them to contribute towards the sustenance of the scheme? Short break.
Thank you.
Welcome back to Talk Time, and we are in conversation with Mr. Osei Assibey Antwi. Executive Director of the National Service Scheme. And we would like to find out from him how institutions can assess the personnel. And when they have assessed the personnel, what are their obligations?
Thank you. Let me take you a little bit back to how we got the personnel. Then I can come back and answer. But it's the universities that train the graduates. And after the universities have trained the graduates, then the universities will give us the class list. And when we get the class list, then together with my management as well as my regional directors, we will sit down and do what we call classification. Classification simply means here, we look at the courses that each of them have done at the university, then we match it up to what work can that profession does. So after we've been able to do all this matching and have come out clear to know that we have to this to S numbers that did mathematics, the S numbers that did this, and therefore this institution can assess them. Then we write to all the user agencies. So all the user agencies will then submit their user agency request. So they submit it through my regional directors, then it will come to my table. So we will know the insurance total number of insurance company in the country. Then we look at the numbers that they need. We look at all the banks. We look at all the various educational institutions. Then we get requests from all the total number of schools. So the schools also write and let us know, as Mpane early primary, we need 10 mathematicians, we need 10 English teachers, we need geography, we need this. So after getting all, then we will write back to them by giving them the particulars of all. But normally what we do is that because we have the database of the National Service personnel, so if dispatch has written to us that he needs 4 journalists, so what we will do is that we will then respond directly to the National Service personnel and tell them 1, 2, 3, 4, you have been posted to dispatch. So this is where you will do your national service. And those who wrote officially to us, we also write back to them that this expect these numbers, they are coming to you. So that has been. And now because of digitization, we have also been able to have what we call employability platform. That employability platform have also been showcased. In fact, we did by meeting with the industry, and at Legon, almost about 1,540 establishment came, and we showcased how it works, the employability platform works. So now with that employability platform, you can sit in the comfort of your office without even coming to me, access our dashboard, go through it, and you see all the materials. You see all of them, those that have done mathematics. You see them even not only by their name, but you see their pictures. And there you can also do the sourcing right from there. So that one is also there. So if you don't want to come to our office and you want to do everything electronically, you can access them. Now we are moving higher. Apart from them assessing only the National Service personnel, we are also in high discussion with the Minister of Education and that of the Minister of Labor and Employment that we also want that platform to be used by the user agencies, especially the industry. So if an industry giant wants engineers, he can just go to the platform to know. So those who are also done with their national service, all their information are also on that platform. In Ghana, there's no institution that has a data more than national service. So data is there. Those who want to access them can access them through the E aspect of it. And what do we expect from them? They have been trained. They have been trained at the various universities, but they need practical training. So the 1 year that we are posting them to the industry, what we need from them is for the industry to fine-tune them, give them a lot of skills, rotate them within the space to let them know, because they are future leaders. So you don't just take them and then sign them to sit somewhere and be buying a watch. No, but we want you to move them from one zone to another area. One institution that has become so exceptional which we are even urging him to become a resource person, whereby we will bring all the HRs, then he will start training them, is that of the Internal Audit Agency. The Internal Audit Agency, the man meets all the national service at the headquarters every week. And then every week, they are also to write reports, report on what they've done in the following week. So every week, they have a report to write. He has given them even how to do publication. So every week, you publish an article. So all of them, they does that. Then he rotates them. So if you have been trained as an administrator, you can be assigned into a desk of the front desk to know how the front desk work. From there, you can be moved into a dispatch to know how dispatch is done. You can then be moved to work with the secretary to the boss to know how the things work. So he's rotating them. So by the time the 1 year national service is done, they are fully equipped. So that is the way. And we also want the HRs to be helpful to us, because national service cannot be everywhere. But fortunately, we know that we are in an era whereby institutions have qualified HRs. So those qualified HRs who are always day in and day out training their workers should also add the national service personnel to it. So by the time they are done with that 1 year, then they will be highly employable. All what we want from them is that we want them to become highly employable. That is an area we want them to be.
What is the extent of financial commitment of the private enterprises?
Yeah, the private enterprises pay 20% on top of what the national service allowance. So the base of the national service allowance is 715.57. But here, let me congratulate 715 per month, 715.57. But here, let me congratulate the private sector, because majority of the private sector pay more than the 715. A lot are paying 1,000, others are even paying 1,200 and all others. So, and the amount that they pay to them is what they pay the 20% to us as a service fee. So it has to be used in also monitoring the activities, administrative and others. So basically, national service, our main IGF come from that 20% that we get from the private sector. And then the private sector, apart from the allowances that they pay to the national service, others have also been doing well by using their own resources to be training them.
Now, is government support adequate as of now?
Yeah, the government is trying its best, but we will still expect that we get support from all and sundry. That is why we are looking up to other spaces. For instance, with the training of the pedagogy. For all these years, the training has not been able to be successful because the central government alone, because look at the number. When you hear the number 715.57, oh, you will be very smart to say, well, government is not paying them. But when you multiply it by the 200,000 monthly, that is where you will know that the central government is doing a lot. Because if the central government is giving you free education to send your child to school, and then supporting your children education at the senior high school, at the university level, and now they are out of university, and so central government is supporting them again, then it means that the central government has really pumped a lot of money into the education space. But this is the time that as a country, I sit here as a chief servant of the national service and know that if Ghana as a whole, the banks, all other institutions come together to support national service can turn back to become a tool for the development of the country. Because we sit on professionals. Now we have designed 7 key areas of transformational agenda. The number 1 is in the area of agric, whereby if you are able to get support if you are able to get support from the development partners, if you are able to get support from the banks, if you are able to get support from the insurance companies, the private sector, we will be able to set up the best farming within the country. Which areas are we looking up to? We are so sad that as a country, we still import so many rice bags to the country. National Service can weave ourselves into that space. But here we can't rely on central government alone. Now that we've secured 20,000 acres of land, this one central government is paying for it. It's very huge.
Where?
We at Kumawu. And apart from that, at the Bono regions too, the chiefs have also been benevolent. They have also given us about 60,000 hectares of land. That is there. And then at Volta region, we have land there. Central region, we have land there. Northern, almost all the regions, we have land banks. We are all as a country thinking about how do we solve the unemployment. The farming, to go into farming, the biggest problem is the land development. And when we talk about land development, we are talking about the felling of the trees, removing of the stumps, removing of the, or getting rid of the roots. Then we'll come to the harrowing and the plowing. All these things must be done before the land will become clean. And before you will be able to do that, per just 1 acre, if it is a virgin forest, you will need more than 12,000 to be able to do that. How can central government alone does that? So if we get corporate support to do that, I can tell you we will be able to push, because this year, a lot of numbers went into the agric. But judging into 2024, 2025, we want to post more people into the agric space. And we are targeting about 50,000 to go into the agric space. We can only do that when we are able to have farmland cleared across the country. For instance, if you are able to get 20,000 acres of land prepared in Kumawu, if you are able to get additional 20,000 prepared in Bono, we are able to get 20,000 prepared in the northern space and in the Volta space. Then what will be left is the machinery. And if you are able to get the machines, we are not saying we are taking the graduate into the farm to go and use cutlasses. No. Anybody who has visited National Service Farm will come and see the use of drone, even for the spraying of pesticides and all the others. Then the irrigation is also there. So we want to introduce modernity into the agric space. And introducing modernity into the agric space, those that we can use are nobody else than the graduate. So there we can plant the maize. So if you grow maize in that space, Ghana will export. Ghana will become the next Ukraine. We can grow soya bean. Recently, when we took some national service into our farm in Berwam, the service personnel came and paid me a visit and said, "Sir, we have gone to secure our own accommodation, but if you can pay for us, there's something we can do for you." I said, "What is it?" They said, "Look, pay our allowances. We will not let you buy fertilizer. We will prepare our own manure." So how do you do it? Because we have learnt it at school. And we can use the poultry droppings by adding some enzyme into it, and it will turn into manure that you can use. So why not? So quickly we went and paid for the rent for them. They said, "Oh, what we will need for you is to dig a big well for us." They told us the things that they need. We provided the things to them, the drums and others. They said, "Look, all what we need is the poultry droppings." So we went for vehicles, cut all the poultry droppings, the waste from the poultry farms. We gave it to them. Within a twinkle of an eye, they have done it for us. And that was what we used at our farm, with the support of Odum. Because Ghana, we have a mind like Odum, who is here, who is expert when it comes to the manufacturing of this organic manure, fertilizers and others. They were able to do it. So with this support, if we get it, the universities themselves will produce the organic manure for us to use, organic fertilizer for us to use, and then we can grow. Then this agri space that National Service want to go in, we want to stop the importation of feed for the poultry farmers, because one, we can process the soya bean, and National Service, we are good at that, thanks to Porube and all the others. We still have some small machines that we use to train the service personnel as to how to make poultry feeds. So if we grow the soya bean, we process it. If we process the maize, combining them, we can get our feeds for the poultry farms. That will solve it. If we grow the maize, we cut the stock, the stick that is there. The national service farmers who have been trained at the various universities have now demonstrated to us that the middle part can be used as a fodder to feed the cattle. So then nothing goes waste. The national service personnel are there to do it. At all the various senior high schools, with the support, if we get that support, we can put greenhouses in all the senior high schools. They will use it as a training field, yet they will not buy any food again at the senior high school. We will support them. Whatever we will grow, we will use it to feed the school feeding at the basic level. Then we will feed those at the senior high school level. And who are there? Those who are there are my children, your children. So by this platform, we appeal to them and we will let you lead, because now our documents are ready. Our documents are ready. President Kufuor has expressed the interest that he wants to lead in the raising of the funding for national service to move into an agrarian revolution, which I want you to be part and to lead this exercise. Once we are able to get that, we are good to go. Another area we also need a lot of funding and we'll be able to do. Fortunately, we are sitting on professionals. Around the Ghana, the Francophone countries, they are all in need of English teachers. Here we have trained a lot of, universities have trained a lot in the area of social sciences. They don't get work to do. Then the university professors are accusing the government, accusing successive governments that they are the causes of all the unemployment. If there's a platform and we are talking about it, they will know that now the universities are also producing the materials that the industry doesn't need. Because now the industry needs actuarial, the industry needs sciences. That is why I'm always thanking this current Minister of Education by the introduction of the STEM, the STENovation, because now the industry needs sciences. The industry needs those who have done technology. The industry needs those who have done mathematics. The industry needs those who have done engineering. They need them, but they are in short supply. By moving straight into the English space, if you're able to train them, we will send them to the Francophone countries. And they need more than, we can train 200,000, they will get them. But we will need the support to be able to do all these things. So the opportunities are there. Another area that national service personnel produced a proposal and submitted it to us is a fast way that we can revolutionize our economy by taking the headache from the finance minister about the dollar. And what is it? It's about the production of essential oil. The essential oil is the commodity that is in very hot of need in the whole world, because every lady in the world, about 60% use perfume. They will spray their body before they leave. When you were coming, I smelled some. You have sprayed. So it means that you have used essential oil. And that essential oil is obtained from lemongrass. And that lemongrass does well in Ghana here. Our own brother, Kofi Juma. Kofi Juma is very expert in the production of essential oil. Maswell Kofi Juma. Gihok. Yes, he is even producing essential oil in smaller quantities. So here we can bring him as a resource person and as a whole country. You go to the northern sector, almost all the part is grasses. That wild grasses, there's nothing you can do about it. So if we get the support, we will move straight into the military, the 48th Engineering Regiment. We will bring them on board. When we wanted to start this farm at Kumau, we have to thank Eva Mens at the Ministry of Finance. I went and took her to the place that we want to, national service, we want to farm, but we are handicapped. And that lady must be respected, because that lady sat on the tractor for 7 miles. She was on the tractor with me for 7 miles to tour the area. He said, I will support you. And he supported national service. It was because of her support and by extension, the support from the Ministry of Finance. That is why we were able to do it through Obatampa. But here, when we went there were a lot of challenges. But just the military coming on board, the military coming on board to spend some days with us, moving from village to village, to educate the people, that the people have come not to harm you. The people have come not to take your land, but they have come to introduce modernity into Agrarian. The military was able to do it, and now the place has become calm. But when we went there, the resistance was so high that even when we started the irrigation, by the time we realized the community, some have gone to bend our pipes. Yes, because they thought that, well, no, they will come and take our land, and what we will do. But we were able to, even though we have done the stakeholder engagement, but just the military coming on board, things were done. So national service, our partnership to the military is going to do the magic, because we will partner with the military 48th Engineering Regiment to help us in clearing the land. So if any institution is listening to us and want to support, the monies that you bring to us, we also bring on board the military. And the purpose that you will need the military to do is to prepare us the land. We will bring on board that of you have irrigation authority. Ghana, we have the best irrigation authority sitting there. We will bring them on board. They will also come and help us in the irrigation. We have WACI, West African Center for Crop Improvement. The whole West Africa is in Ghana here. The only thing is bring them on board. They will help us in the area of the cropping. So what do we lack again? And we will be able to do essentially very effective good farming that is going to transform the economy of this country. So what we need now is money to go into the agri space. What we need now is to be able to introduce, broaden the pedagogy training. The pedagogy training is also very essential, because when you are trained at the University for Science and Technology, you have been trained, you are a perfect gentleman, your course is good, you are a perfect lady. But the question is that when you move into an arena of space, that pedagogy, you don't have any idea about it. And what is pedagogy about? It is a way of training you to be able to impact the knowledge that you've acquired into a younger one, to be able to emulate you. So those with that one, when they move out, and now the interesting thing is that with the support from TTEL, we have been able to now come out.
I'm going to come to your specific achievements. So for now, we're going to take a very short break, and when we come back, we would like to find out from the Executive Director of the National Service Scheme what his personal achievements have been since he took up this position. Okay. Short break. Back to Talk Time, and we are in conversation with Mr. Osei Assibey Antwi, Director of the National Service Secretariat. Now, sir, since you took over, what have you done? What have you brought to the National Service project?
Yeah, thank you for the question. But I will not personalize it, because I work under a board, and then I work with the management team. And below me, I also have 2 deputy executive directors and all. So together, what we've been able to achieve, number one, is that of the pedagogy training. For all these 50 years, we were sending people to go and teach in the senior high school, but yet they were not being trained. But now, without a penny from central government, we manage by writing a lot of proposals, because I believe that if you are an appointee of a president, you should know about zero budgeting. How do you manage with zero budget? So with the writing of proposals, we landed on TTEL, and TTEL was able to help us, and with the support of GES and with the support of NTC. Now we managed to develop pedagogy, and then 2021, 2022, we were able to train about 2,000 before they went to teach. 2022, 2023, we've escalated it into 3,000. We trained them. And the interesting thing is that now we are making it a certificate course. So NTC, pedagogy. So NTC has managed, with the talking to the training colleges, universities, and they have now accepted. So those national service personnel that are going to be posted to go and teach, and after going through the pedagogy, they will have the opportunity to do the licential exams. And so if you take to it, you study it, and you went and pass, you will have certificate. So now you came out with a degree, and you leave out with also another certificate. So that is our number one thing that we've been able to do. The second thing that we've been able to do is the introduction of the metric application. How do we save the government purse? So immediately I took off, I put it before the board and the management. They accepted. We all worked together. We introduced the electronic means metric application. And the first time we introduced, we were able to block 10,000, more than 10,000 people who were fake and wanted to do national service. And then it translated to about 120 million. The vice president was there then to even applaud us for what we did. Then still escalating it in 2022, 2023, we were able to save about 9,000 again. So it means that a lot of people are still knocking. Can we enter into their system to be able to take money? We block it. And in 2022, 2023, 2024, we expanded it. So this time we are expanding it. And by expanding it, we were able to address and block about 21,000. So this tells that if we have not been able to do that, the central government would have lost about 400 million to people to just stop. But you see, with the support of my regional directors, with the support of my board, the support of my 2 deputies, and with the support of the consultant who is helping us, we've managed to block this. All these things attest to the fact that digitization is the way to go. The third thing I'll talk about is the acquisition of the 20,000 acres of land and moving national service into the highest commercial space, and then repositioning national service to become a vehicle for change, a vehicle for national development. Now, last year we did a lot. The Minister of Agri paid a working visit. The Minister of Education also paid a working visit. The produce has been given to the senior high school. That is also another area we want to go. And just because of our exploits, we've managed to get some institutions and some organizations that have come to our aid. And now we are having an NGO, a group that want to fund us to the space of $9 million for 5 years, all to go into the agri space. That is one achievement that together we've been able to achieve. And then national service, like you mentioned, is a scheme. It is still a scheme for 50 years. So it means that our horizon is still not broadened. We are actually limited by a lot, by that. There's a lot of things that we can't do as at now. We cannot form SPV. There's a lot. We can't go into commercial ventures and all others. So the president, by his endorsement, we are now moving to become an authority. Now our policy document is ready. And this is the first time National Service is going to have a policy. And this I will thank all the past executive directors, because we managed in bringing all of them. This is the first time somebody has sat on this seat and was able to bring all the formal executive directors, come and sit down, bring your experience on board, and let us have a policy. Because each one who have come managed with his own direction. But now we want to have one policy document that anybody who will come and sit on the seat will work on. So they all came together. Parliament, we had a lot of people coming from Parliament to come and support, and the academia. In fact, we were able to attract almost about 250 people just to come and support us, with almost about 24 professors coming to sit on the table to support national service. And then as for, we have a lot, professors from all over the country came. Then Iman Ghana was there. A whole lot of team came and supported us. So we want to thank them for that support. So now I can say with authority that we have our policy document now prepared on the table of the president to endorse it. Then it will be launched. The pedagogy document is also well prepared, that now anybody who wants to go into that space is also going to be trained. Another document that we have prepared, which is also very, very, very good and has been tested, is that of the MSME accounting aid. And all what it means is that we have a legal aid. So now National Service, we have also come out with the business support or the business aid. But commonly people call it accounting aid. What is that one going to do? It is going to be a professional support we are going to give to those at the lower space, the small, medium enterprises and the micro level. So here we have talked extensively with that of GUTAC. We have talked extensively with Employers Association. Those are the basic level. So what do we want them? We only want their cooperation. We've gotten their cooperation. So we will support, we will deploy national service personnel to them. And those that we are deploying are those who have done supply chain, those who have done accounting, those who have done marketing, then those who have done ICT. The pilot that we did, it came out very successful. We actually picked some companies, some small businesses in Ashanti region. I quite remember about 5 businesses. I personally went, have a discussion with them that we want to give you national service personnel to come and support you. He said, why? But are they not coming to look into my records just to report to GRA? We said that far from that. We want to support you to formalize your business. Then when he allows, he said, first, are you taking records? He said, no. Then we want them to build for you electronic bookkeeping. Then every week they will print a copy for you. He understand, and we started. Then we told him everything you buy, you need to give, you need to take a receipt. He understood. Then all these practices went on. In 3 months, when we were doing the assessment, he said, I am a very rich person, but I didn't know. They said, why? Because it came out that only in funerals, I was spending for the 3 months, only in funerals, I spent more than 150,000.
Wow.
Yeah. Why? But he didn't know, because every month, every week, he was attending about 5 funerals. So each funeral, according to him, he was donating about 3,000. So the 3,000 by 5 is 15,000. So if you add all the others to it, so once the bookkeeping for 3 months exposed him for him to know how he's spending his money, it exposed him for him to know how he's spending on things that he can minimize it. Another area it also helped them was in the area of stock taking. Within the 3 months, they were able to know their expiring goods, because they only dump the goods there. But because they don't properly, they don't know about stock taking. They have no idea about LIFO. They have no idea about FIFO. First in, first out, last in, first out. They don't have any idea. And they have a big warehouse. They go and put the goods there. They send the store guys, go and pitch. When a buyer is there, you are in a hurry. When they go, they look at the first one, they pick it. By the time they realize all the ones at the back are gone bad. But now that we've actually helped them by digitizing their stock, by helping them know by the click, they will know they have this at stock. They will know that this one came about 3 months ago. That one came about 4 months ago. Then they will sell the first 4 months before coming to the 3 months, so that they've known the value of the supply chain to their business. They've also realized that ICT, how it actually enhances business by combining it with marketing. They are only selling their goods in the store, but they are not selling it online. We actually picked about some traders who were selling kente clothes, just marketing it online. They have escalated their level of sales to the level they've never attained before. So they've realized how important it is. And they are also helping them in filing their tax returns, because some of them didn't even know how to file their tax returns. Some of them didn't know there were a lot of rebates that as traders they need to enjoy. Some of them didn't even know that before you start your business, the loan you acquire, you should let them know, so that before you pay your taxes, you pay taxes on profit. Some of them didn't know. By just helping them to formalize their business, they would then know what they would have to tell the GRA official who comes. That before starting my business, I borrowed about 200,000. Before starting my business, I credit these goods. All these things they don't know. But if you don't have all these records, the GRA person will come and look at it and tell you that you have all these. These are your sales, so this is your profit. But we're able to let them know. So the advice to Guta people and advice to all the SMEs is that the accounting aid has come to help them. We tested it in the area of the hoteliers. That is the NSS MOTAC. So first we started with GTE, Ghana Tourism Authority, before escalating it to the Ministry of Tourism and Art and Culture. So first we only selected about 700 national service personnel. We trained them, and with a collaboration with Kwesi, we actually gave them to the GTA. And by giving them to the GTA, teaching them what they have to do, and then they went there. And because we have actually do a background work, and have come out with the problems that the hoteliers and all the others are facing. Before sending them, they know what they were going to do. Some of them, when the hotels that they went, where the occupancy rate was as low as 24%, by 1 year, they have escalated it to 37%. They have escalated it. So by the end of their cycle, 27% were retained. When we asked them how they were able to do it, because we went through the research, monitoring, and evaluation report that was finally prepared. One thing that they made us to know was that a lot of the hotels even do advertise their hotel without a pull factor. And by the training they've acquired at the various universities, they were able to leverage on the pull factor to sell the hotel. I quite remember about guys that were sent to Kumasi. They used the museum. They used the museum at the military museum at Edum. They use it as a pull factor. And that military museum is able to tell a story about how the Ashanti Kingdom fought the British and succeeded in seizing a lot of their weapons, and they are there. This is information that is not known to the British. So that one attracted a lot of them coming to Kumasi just because they wanted to go and see. They want to see the size of the kingdom that was able to battle the British. So these are the pull factors. Some were able to use the Menchia Museum. And we have a story about 16 occupants of the Golden Stool. And by having that, they were able to draw the attention of the tourists to come down. The tourists do not come to your country just because they are coming for the beauty of it. But it is what you have and what you want to show. That is what will bring them. So this is an area where the National Service is ready to scale it up, then to support all the tourism, the agencies to be able to boost our tourism. Here, a document has been sent to the Minister for Tourism. Then we are expecting that the Minister for Tourism, Arts and Culture will come to our aid, and then we will expand it. And by this, talking about it on your studio, any hotelier who is also interested and want to partner National Service for us to scale up his business, we are ready to support that in that direction. So these are the areas that we are also working. And as for the training of our National Service personnel, that is key. It was during my tenure of office, and by extension the tenure of office of the board, that now we've been able to operationalize the 6 newly created regions. So all the 6 newly created regions, now we've been able to operationalize it. We have full directors there who are manning the activities at that place. So National Service is now moving. We are repositioning ourselves, and very soon everybody will have to work at the National Service.
So thank you very much for coming. Thank you so very much for coming. Well, viewers, you've been listening to Mr. Osei Assibey Antwi, Executive Director of the National Service Secretariat. And I'm sure that at the end of it all of us have learned a thing or two about the National Service Project, and perhaps are ready and willing to help the project to succeed. We'll see you again next week, but until then, please remain on Pan-African television, because we bring you the best in everything. Bye-bye from all of us, producer George Villar, from MCR, from camera, from everybody. See you again next week. Bye-bye.